Okay, everyone, sit back and buckle up. This is the second part of Module 2. I'm actually beginning on page WD 2-12, where we're going to start working with styles. This is the first part that we've done. We did this in class. So I'm going to go and work through the rest of the chapter. I'm going to go up to citations, and I'll make a separate video on that. Hopefully that will help you. So remember, you've got to really read each and every step fully. I myself am probably the biggest offender skimming through that, and I'll miss a step that it says to do, and then I have to go back and work on it. So try to always remember that. So first thing it tells us to do on the top is Control Home, and of course you know that's going to put us on the very top of the document. So I'm hitting Control Home. It wants to select the title Career Growth in the Tech Sector. For here, it's easy. Just go into the selection bar and then click one time. So then we want to move over styles, and we're going to click on the title. These are the styles up here. So if I click on title, notice that it will go and reflect the type of format change it's going to be without actually changing it. So now once I click on it, it takes care of it. That was number 2. We're going to select Applications Developer, and I'm going to click Heading 1. This is Applications Developer and Heading 1. Notice that it does change the color as well. That's an easy fix if you don't like that color. Then it tells us to apply the Heading 1 style to each bold heading. So what I'm going to do here, rather than constantly click, since I'm going down here, I'm just going to select it and hit F4. Now, it does not always work with headings. So just bear that in mind. We'll do it again and we'll try it one more time. That time it worked. That time it worked. That time it worked. And we're doing well. Awesome. So we're good there. Now remember, you could have always used the format painter to do that. So we've now made them all heading 1s. By the way, remember heading 1s so that when we go over how to do a table of contents, you'll already be familiar with how to do headings. That's the easiest way to create a table of contents. So we have done apply heading 1 to each style in here. We're going to go to the very top of the document, click the launcher in the path. So I'm going to hit Control Home. Tells us to click the launcher in the first body paragraph. So this is the first body paragraph in here. And we'll click the launcher, and it tells us the indent spacings are in here, so you can change that. So let's click this launcher here, and you can see that it has nothing before, 8 after, and that we're using multiple 1.15. If you want to change that paragraph, that you can. So we're not actually doing anything in here. So it tells us in number 6, click OK to close the paragraph. Then with the insertion point in the first body, right-click normal and update normal to match selection. So we're going to click on OK or cancel. And just making sure I did not miss anything. So let's select this here. And it tells us in here, so it does say that just point in the first body, right-click normal in the styles group. So we'll select it anyway. We're going to right-click normal, and we're going to update normal to match selection. Now remember that every time you do that, it's going to update your normal, which means that everything may or may not change depending on your settings. But that's an easy fix to go back to it. So we just took care of that. That was number 6. Number 7, right-click heading 1 in the styles group. Click modify, and we're going to change it and choose no style. So we're going to right-click. We're going to choose modify, and we're going to choose no style. Now notice it says heading 1 here based upon in here. So we're going to change this from normal to no style. That means that any changes that you make in normal won't affect heading 1 in here. And let's click on OK. That was number 7. Number 8 says right-click the title and choose Modify and click Style based upon the Modify style. We're going to do the same thing. So let's go to Title, right-click, choose Modify, and based upon no style. Okay, so now notice that any issues in the normal will not affect anything going on in the title one itself. All right, we're done with number 8. So we're going to select career growth and we're going to increase the font. So let's click it here. And we want to increase it. Just says 1 time, which is here. Then it wants us to do a blue accent 125 in our colors, which is right here. So where here's blue, and this should be accent 25 darker. That takes care of that. And click the line and paragraph spacing arrow and choose add space after the paragraph. So right now, if you go into paragraph, you can see you have 0, 0, and single in here. Now, yes, you can add that as well. Let's go into the line spacing. And we're just going to choose add space after the paragraph. I believe it says after. And it's going to give you either 8 or 12 depending upon your settings. So let's see what it gave us. And it gave us 12. So that looks a little bit nicer. It really should be centered, but it's not. So right now we'll worry about that if and when the time comes. That was number 9. So you can see all the information is explained on the next page over here. And if we missed anything, I'll go back and change it. But as of right now, I'm not seeing anything that needs to be changed, although I'm looking at some double spacing that I may have missed. So that's easy fix if we have to go back. So now we're going to insert page numbers and page breaks. They're a lot easier than the book makes them out to be, and I'm going to do a whole separate session on headers, footers, and page numbers and page breaks so that hopefully you'll feel comfortable. So we're going to scroll to the bottom of page 1, insertion point before the heading Customer Service Manager. And it is actually on page 2. So we don't have to worry about that right now. We're going to click the Layout tab. And it wants us to create a page break. Now, what it's going to do is create a page break. So if you have something similar to the book, but not exactly, if you're on a different page, it could be your margins are different. It could be your font's different. So I'm going to go and check the font and see what this is in here. Okay, Calibri 11 is normal it. So we may have something that is not set right, because this really should be on the bottom of page 1. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go to, scroll down in here, click the Layout tab, Breaks, and it wants us to create a page break. So here's Layout, and we're going to go Break, and we're going to insert a page break. And you can see that it actually inserted it here. So we're good to go at this point in time. All right. Scroll down to place insertion point before the heading Intelligence Analyst. So let's find Intelligence Analyst. And if you can't find it, just hit Control F and start typing in some words, some letters. And there's Intelligence. And we want the next one. And let's see. All right, here's Intelligence Analyst right here. So again, you find things the way you are more comfortable with. We're going to hit Control Enter, and that's a shortcut to get a page break. So I'm going to put just before the I, hold the Control key, hit Enter. That's the way I do it. Notice it does the same thing. Please remember, a page break is not a section page break. We're going to go over section page breaks at a later time, but bear that in memory. Keep that in the back of your mind. So now what we want to do is we want to press Control Home to go to the top. Then it wants us to insert a page number in a header and footer. So to get to the header and footer, we can do it many different ways. So let's go into the Insert tab, and you'll see a header and footer group. So it's going to tell us to do the page number, and we want it to be on the bottom page. So let's go to page number, bottom page, and it wants plain number 2. So notice that it put it on the bottom of every single page, and there's a way to get that so it's not appearing on the first page. Very easy to do. Double click the document text, and that'll take you out of the header, or you just could have clicked close header and footer. So we take care of that. That was number 7. Number 8, we're going to go to Control Home. It wants us to view multiple pages. And so you can see that we have page 1, page 2. By the way, if you just type in a 1 at the bottom of the page, it's actually going to put in 1 on every single page. So bear that in mind. You want to use a page code, just like you may want to use a date code to do the insert the date and time. So we are now finishing number 8, and you can see how things are progressing. Just take a look on WD 2-15, and you can see it also explains a page break, a column break, and text wrapping. We will go over that. All right, so now we want to add headers and footers. So my favorite view is page width. Your favorite view is whatever view you feel the most comfortable with. And I always work with the show hide buttons in here. So a shortcut apparently is Control and the star. So that is something, again, if you don't want to go to Home and do that, you can do it from Control star. All right, so we are now in here. We want to go to Insert tab, and then we want to do header and footer, and then it wants us to click a blank. Normally, when I do header and footer, I do edit header and footer. I normally go down here and choose edit. That's what I normally do. But here is a blank, so we'll do that. That's fine. And you have the infamous type here. So we are now in number 3, and we're going to type career growth in the text section. We're going to attempt to do that. Now don't hit a enter key. You can see you already have one here. I'll just put an extra line in the header. That takes care of number 3. Number 4, select the header text but not the paragraph mark and click the font color. So it wants the header text but not the paragraph mark. So I select it, and then I'll hold the shift key down and move my left arrow, and that takes care of that. And then it wants us to do the font color group. Doesn't specify what font color, but we can use it. Now remember, once you select something, you can right click and get the mini toolbar, or you could go to the home. So I'm going to click it here, and we now have a different color. And let's see what else it wants us to do. It wants us to do a center and bottom border. So we can choose center by clicking. Actually, you could actually do the mini toolbar, but it does not have the center, so that's of no use. You can go to home, or you can just hit Control E. Control E, remember, is a shortcut to get something to go into the just center. And then Control F would be left, Control R would be right. And we have that in here. header and footer design tab. We're going to go to footer, and we will also want a bottom border. So there's different ways to do it, but let's just go to home, and here's our borders. Just happen to show that this would be the bottom border here. And let's click on this. Choose a bottom border. Now remember, that's not the same as underline. If we did underline, it would only underline the text itself. So this gives a whole bottom border. All right. And let's go to, let's see where we're at. Select the page number field in the footer, and it wants the font color to be the same. So we're going to go to header and footer. We're just going to choose go to footer. And we're going now. This is not selected. This gray highlight here just means it's a field, not an actual one. So now it's selected. And let's see if we get the mini toolbar. And here it is. And we'll choose that. So that takes care of that. Hit Control Home. And we're going to go over the header text here. And I'm going to double click the header to open up the header. And there we go. And notice there's something that says different first page. And so it tells us to collect that. We're going to actually do this. So what that will do will separate the first page of a section with everything else. So you're going to get something different. So in this particular case, we should not see anything on the first page. So we clicked it and it's gone. But if you go to the second page, you're going to see it's all there. Notice we have no page number, nothing in the footer, and nothing in the header. This is a good time to save the document. And I'm back, and it wants us to view and multiple pages. So you can see that it does look proper. All right, footnotes and endnotes are really easy. The difference between a footnote and an endnote: a footnote will appear at the bottom of the page. An endnote will appear at the end of the document. So, and you can switch them. If you mess up and you do an endnote instead of a footnote, you can. Now remember, they're numbered in order. So whatever comes first is 1, whatever comes second is 2, and whatever comes third is going to be 3. Once you click on a insert footnote before, so if you have 1, and then you click on some text before it, it will make that 1 and make the other one 2. So we're going to click on that, and I'm going to end this video right now. This happens to be about 18 minutes long, and I don't think I can finish it. I try to keep my videos 20 minutes or less. So I'm going to end this video right now, and we'll pick up later on, starting on page WD2-18.